some more. That's how we cope. That's how we stay sane. So if you're judging men by how you're going to miss the strongest ones every single time, because the strongest man doesn't announce their struggle. They carry it, and then they carry yours too. Now, I know what you're thinking. Julius, this sounds like suppressing emotions. That sounds unhealthy. And you know what? Sometimes it is. But let me be crystal clear here. I'm not defending the man who weaponizes silence. There's a difference between processing quietly and silence for attention. I'm also not talking about the guy who gets drunk instead of dealing with problems. And I'm not excusing the man who punches the fridge because he's too immature to hold his own anger. That's the male equivalent of a princess stomping her foot. It's desperate attention seeking, mummy solve my problems for his issues. I'm talking about mature masculine processing, not man-child tantrums disguised as...
This idea that you should never be vulnerable with women is egregiously inane. I hear this constantly regurgitated throughout social media by men who aren't in relationships and can't get women. And that's because a lot of these men erroneously associate being vulnerable with crying, whining, and complaining. When in reality, what it means to be vulnerable is to be authentic and transparent with the way you feel about your woman, both positive and negative. And I know this is going to sound bewildering to the incels, undesirables, and traumatized men, but there are masculine ways to be vulnerable. So you can express to your woman how she makes you feel with confidence, equanimity, charisma, and without fear of rejection. And I guarantee you she'll respect it, and it'll intensify intimacy. Simply saying, yo, I appreciate you. I value what we have. Or, you disappointed me. I wasn't cool with that. That's being vulnerable without appearing soft or weak. Were y'all aware that drawing boundaries is a form of being vulnerable as well? Y'all expect to build and maintain healthy relationships by appearing apathetic, uninvested, and disinterested? That actually sabotages it.
Good evening. Welcome to Unspoken with Zadok, the podcast. You're welcome to Dominion TV, where we speak about men's issues. And I'm sure you've enjoyed the videos we've played for you, right? But today's topic, we'll be speaking on the vulnerability paradox. Can men really connect in relationships and in marriages? And I have my team with me as usual, and then I'm sure with what we have for you, you're going to enjoy what we have here. So let's start with Sheil.
All right, good evening, everyone. My name is Olamolu Asho. Thanks for having me.
Hey, you're welcome.
My name is Teju Joanna Tialubi, a former educationist and now an entrepreneur and a content creator.
Okay, so I'm Dr. Michaels, a medical doctor with interest in interventional talking therapy.
Thank you. So, doctor, let's start from you. In mental health, what does it mean to be vulnerable vis-a-vis being a man?
Well, I think men have emotions, but they only have problems with expressing emotions. So being vulnerable means opening up to someone.
Yeah.
But my concern is you can't really know how to open up to someone if you have never opened up to yourself before.
Oh, so we need to open. How do we need to open up to ourselves? Okay, please explain.
So you literally need to take yourself on a date. Like you can't really know how to take or where to take a person for a date if you have never taken yourself out on a date.
Okay.
And if you have taken yourself out on a date, you would then know the kind of questions to ask another person that you end up taking on a date.
Okay.
So that will stop men from having to write questions to what will I ask the person or what will I ask the babe or something.
Okay.
So I think the work should start from me.
Okay. You mentioned taking myself on a date. Sorry, the focus being on you right now, because I want to just create the balance now where we start from understanding it from the mental health point of view. How do I take myself on a date? Because why would I even be taking myself on a date in the first place? Why should I?
Yeah, you only take people that you value on a date or on dates.
So I need to value myself first.
Yeah.
For me to go on a date. So I should take myself on a date, eat the good food, enjoy the ambience.
Yeah, that's why guys buy a lot of things they would normally not buy for themselves. Why will you buy things for a babe, things you've never gotten for yourself? Why will you take a girl out to an expensive restaurant and you have never gone there yourself?
Thank you.
To eat what you can't eat, what you would never eat, what you would never use your money to buy, you buy. Well, it's okay. The thing
I
is,
can buy bottled water. Why should
No,
I
no, no.
buy-
That's what he's trying to say. Please, for doctor, please shoot.
so the thing is, I think people are mixing up things: sexual relationship and romantic relationship. If it's a sexual relationship, the goal is simple.
Yeah.
Transactional.
Yeah.
Just bend
So it's okay. You can take the lady or the guy to where you have never been before. We all know where it will end.
up.
But when it comes to a romantic relationship, which might likely end up in marriage,
Marriage, romantic relationships, yeah.
there will be issues. If you've never taken yourself on a date and then the first thing you're thinking of is taking the girl or the guy to a place you've never been to. You've never gone for fine dining now. You've never
fine dining.
you never gone there. You've never spent like 100K on yourself. And then if you spend it on another person, you will feel empty. Maybe that day or the next day or one day.
So the context of loving my neighbor as myself means I have to love myself first.
Yeah, because you can't really know how to love someone
If you don't love yourself.
Thank you, doctor. I'm
But
going to say just two things, I'll come back to loving your neighbor as yourself first, but I think one thing he mentioned that people do not, that men, not people, men do not like to buy into it is that we all have emotions. Men have emotions, but they run away from those emotions.
But it's culture. We're taught to be stoic. We're taught to be stoic. We're taught to mask.
But that culture,
mask
has
the
it
pain.
been of advantage? Has it helped us? Has it benefited us so far?
So far, yeah.
No, it has
say-
no benefit. That's why we have good number of divorce outside. Because
always
men run away from their emotions. If you don't acknowledge your emotion as a man, how do you communicate with your partner? Today's topic is vulnerability. So if you can't, vulnerability is just sharing my emotions. So if I don't, that's why I said I'm coming back to love your neighbor as yourself. If you don't love yourself, you don't acknowledge your emotions yourself. How do you share those emotions with someone you love? Do you understand? Because this topic is so much detailed, complex, and it has to do with honesty, brutal honesty. You cannot love. That's why the Bible said. I don't want to go so much into the Bible. I have to just make reference to this.
Yeah, it's good.
When Paul was saying men should love their wives as Christ loved the church. That's one. I can't do that. I cannot love like that. But if you don't love yourself, that's why the Bible says God is love. He is love. That's why he could love us like that. That is his nature. So even when you mess up and all, he can't deny himself. He will still love you when you come back. Do you understand? Unconditionally. That instruction is for men. A man that doesn't love himself. I was just smiling when he was talking. A man that doesn't love himself, how does he want to love the lady?
So I should take myself out on that date. Go and eat that catfish.
No, it's too late, brother. It's too late.
You know
You have to book a session with Dr. Michael.
Doctor, you know the reason why I mentioned that now? Now, because of the situation we find ourselves, and sometimes because of the responsibilities, as men we're entrusted with responsibilities, we've got a whole lot going for us all at once. And then sometimes you have some money in your account and then, you're like, oh gosh, that catfish with that yam and coke will be fine. And then you'll just be thinking in your head, the cost of that catfish would buy 2 packs of juice for those kids at home now. Okay, the children can have that. I can delay my cravings. You are saying that we should, when we feel that way, we should actually satisfy ourselves. Maybe that would help us feel better and happier to be able to make.
Okay, the build-up of a man is actually, it tilts towards responsibility.
Yes.
That's a natural build-up of a man. But the issue we are having now in Africa is excessive, extra responsibility, and men enjoy it, and it's making them have hypertension. In medical school, we're taught that one of the risk factors for hypertension is being an African.
Yes. Yes. Once you're African, you're predisposed. You're black. You're predisposed to hypertension, and that's the reason why the drugs you take as a black person will not work on the Caucasian, because ours is kind of different. But also, don't forget that because of our community, you also have the black tax. And then the black tax also has a lot of issue. It messes with you because by the time everybody is like, oh, the community put together, this family sacrificed for you so you can go out there to become who you are, so you can also help with, you can also do this. Now you've attained and then you think, oh, you just, you need to move on. Now I'm struggling with that. There are responsibilities coming and you're asking me to open up to someone. Yes, I love this person. But what if I'm afraid that this person might not be able to love me the way I want to be loved?
Yeah,
That's another one.
Number one is you can help people, but not at your own expense.
Yes.
I mean,
I agree.
you want to get the egg, but you will kill the chicken. After killing the chicken, where will the egg come from? And once you leave this planet or this plane, people will continue with their lives.
Life continues.
So the problem is you must make sure you don't derive your sense of self-worth from helping people or from these responsibilities.
But wouldn't it be like not being empathetic?
No, you know the other day we were talking
for
about
me,
learning to
being
say
an
no.
emotional, intelligent person, I'm trying to be empathetic. I want to, I just feel, okay, this is within, I can still accommodate. For some of us, we may just say, oh, I can still adjust, I can accommodate, and then it seems that we keep pouring, like we're full, and then we keep pouring so much of ourselves
You're not
out.
full, but you're pouring what you don't even have.
That is.
Can I shake up?
Yeah, you can.
Oh yeah.
That's
So I
the
think that
challenge.
is- yeah,
yes,
that is when
that's
it's
why
a
we
challenge.
must learn. In fact, that's one thing I'm learning to do now. I'm learning to say no to what I know would not be good for my mental health. I'm learning to walk away from people that I like, that are going to be toxic for me. That it's a difficult thing. When people say build boundary, it's not an easy walk in the park.
Mm-hmm.
How can I build boundary with somebody that I connect with, that I like, and I walk away? But I know that at the long run, this person is looking like he's not going to take responsibility to be a better person. Yeah. So let me walk away to prevent that much heartbreak. For me.
Okay.
So a family member who doesn't understand when I say no, I'm going to walk away from that person because you're going to be harmful to my mental health. Because you're going to drive me to a point where when I see your call, my heart skips. Because I know that whatever I say to you, you're not going to listen. You're going to tell me, I need you to give me the money. I need you to do this. Why are you so wicked? Why are you so do this? So for your own mental health, please start learning how to block. The block button is there for a reason. Block, block, block. That doesn't mean we should be wicked. That doesn't mean we should be wicked. There should be a balance.
Don't you think that's extreme?
No, there should be a balance.
Actually. No, she made the point. The block button is there, right? But we always have, when you say you need to, that word, when you say mental health, a lot of people will run under that. A lot of people, even if you have, and you have to like give out, the next thing you see, I don't understand, but I don't know, it's a general thing now, when you now use the word mental health. We didn't have that growing up.
And that's why we have lots of damaged adults now, because we weren't paying attention to those things.
No, we have a lot of irresponsible adults.
Not that. Someone who is struggling financially, doesn't have it all, but trying to present this facade that I'm good,
Why should you
okay.
present the facade?
No, we all have our
that's what
egos.
society-
It's
Yes.
like facade. No, I understand
But
you want to say that
society dictates some of these things.
Exactly,
Yes.
but we are in society, right? What society? We are the ones that
Are you
dictate
telling
the
me that
society.
if I've not eaten all morning and I'm broke, I should go put it on my status that they've been for me? Is that what you're
No,
saying?
no,
We
I
all
wouldn't
have
say
to,
that.
exactly, we all have to cover up. Imagine you having to grapple with, financial challenges,
Of
and
course,
somebody
we all
calls
do.
you,
Yeah.
your family member, and maybe to make yourself happy, you just came across one of your old picture where you were in the
Yeah,
party,
100, I'll get that.
and you post it on your status, oh, good times and all, and you
yeah.
post it, and then somebody sees it and say, uncle, please, can I have 100,000 naira?
Of course, you should have been expecting. That's the thing.
So when
You
it
should have
comes,
been expecting that when you actually
does that
posted
mean
that.
she should not post
No,
the
no,
picture?
wait.
It's
Let her
gonna
finish
make her
off.
feel
I
bad.
don't want to.
so does that mean that when the boy comes to you and then you tell him, oh, I'm sorry, I don't have the money, and then he goes off on you, are you telling me that you'd feel comfortable to not block him, knowing that that is his normal
But
behavior?
why should you run and hit? That's not what.
It's
the block
normal
button is for.
behavior.
If it's once it's rhetoric, then of course I know where its mentality tends.
That's what I'm saying. Nobody does something once and then you block.
It
No,
becomes,
there are
it becomes a
some-
pattern.
Yes, a
once
pattern,
it's
a
a pattern,
recurring
yeah.
pattern. That's
Yeah.
why many of us don't do that. I know I used to do that. I try to want to talk to them sensibly, to try to, you
But
know,
they
appeal
don't
to
get
their...
you.
Where?
There are a lot
How?
of people in the
are
world. There are
inherently
others that will get
selfish. So as long as you're appearing good, you're smiling, they are entitled to whatever it is they think you have, not what you're telling them you have.
Okay.
I agree
This
with
is
you
it.
on that.
Doctor, now back to you, right? With traditional norms, masculinity, men are meant to be the rocks, they're meant to be the foundation. And, so you're the chief cornerstone of your home, of your family. So you're meant to be stoic, you're not meant to show those emotions, because if you begin to show those emotions, there might be cracks, It's just like being the leader of an army and you begin to show fear. You're going to affect your soldiers behind you.
Right.
Right. And that's what we've been, so now we're advocating that men should be vulnerable, right?
Right.
Now, there's a whole lot of talks now, even the religious, men are beginning to find safe spaces, men are beginning to talk. Back then, it wasn't easy. Men don't talk, and then you have a whole lot of deaths, unexplained deaths that were happening. But now it's becoming, there's a revolution that's coming. But how do you think that this culture that we feel is toxic? Because from these cultures, you have the toxic masculinity. Now you have some special groups online, they call them manospheres, where, sometimes I just find myself, and then I listen to some of these, I'm like, what kind of views are these? These are too extreme, right? Now, but I also wouldn't, to balance things up, they make sense a bit, but I just feel it's too extreme, right? But with what's happening in the society, with our cultures, you're the head, you should show weakness, you should have a grip of things. How do we contend with this? Vis-a-vis, now you're in a relationship, we're talking about in a relationship, in a marriage now. Now, should the man get to the point where he needs to be vulnerable with his lover? And wouldn't the fear of reciprocation or somebody trying to, you have a falling out and then you just find a video of yourself on those popular blogs online. How do you think men can handle that?
Number one is to be effective, to be vulnerable to other people, you need to first of all be vulnerable to yourself. Mm-hmm. That will help you to know the boundary of how to be vulnerable to other people. Mm-hmm. That's number one. Number two is, so let me use an example, a general. If you are going to be an effective general, then you will need to be able to know a lot of people who are your soldiers. Mm-hmm. So men assume they know women, but they don't. So how can you provide leadership for someone you don't know, to a gender you don't know, and to a person you don't know? And number three is you can't pick up. Men just feel I can just get done with relationship or marriage. I'm ready to settle down now. Then you see a lady on your own. Let's talk. I don't have time. 6 months, 1 year. Let's get married. No, that's not how it should go. And that's why the problem of marriage is actually from the aspect of choice, the process. You can't just pick somebody on the road. The person has to be your friend.
All right. Doctor, we'll go for a short break now, and then when we come back, we'll pick up from where you stopped.
Truth if you ask them.
Right.
A transparent person will show you the truth if you just look. Mm-hmm. If you look, I will show you.
Yeah.
But a vulnerable person will offer you the truth and you never have to reach for it.
That's good.
And so you want to be able to be honest. But see, if we're in a marriage and I'm just honest with you, that's not enough. because you have to know what to ask me.
Right. And so if I don't feel like I'm getting the answers because I never asked, I don't feel safe.
Then I'm technically not wrong here.
Right.
But like, if you look and you see something is wrong with my limp or my eyes right now, like my eyes, so my eye is low, so you can see, and if you're looking, then I'll tell you, like, you know, this is going on with my eye, right? You're looking, you can see, so I'm showing you.
Yeah.
But vulnerability says you don't see what's going on in the internal, and I just want to tell you something that you don't know, and you wouldn't even know to ask, even on a good day.
Right.
So to be vulnerable is to offer, and that is risky.
It's so risky because you don't know what's going to come of that.
Absolutely.
As the person who's being vulnerable, you don't know what comes of it. Is that person going to shame you, ridicule you? Is it going to come back in another conversation?
They tell you they want honesty. They want the real you. They want you to open up. Then one day, you're in an argument. And suddenly, everything you opened up about your past, the one you trusted them with, becomes their greatest weapon, right? You told them about your childhood history, the biggest mistakes you might have made in relationships, the thing that haunts you the most. And now, they're using it to hurt you, to win some sort of freaking argument, just to break you down, right? That's not love, people. That's not safety. That's betrayal at the highest level. Because love, real love, protects you even in a conflict. It doesn't reach for your scars just to make a deeper wound, right? So you have to ask yourself, when the argument is over, do you feel heard or do you feel exposed and betrayed? Doesn't really make a person really want to open up anymore, does it?
Welcome back. Doctor, yes, we've watched that video. There are certain questions I'll ask you, but I want you to finish your line of thoughts as well before we went for the break.
Yeah, the thing is, if you, when it comes to business partnership, you want to do FBI background check. But when it comes to marriage, you don't have time for it. And that's your life.
True.
And in early days, we are currently clamoring for cultural modification. We need to bring back certain things and then throw away certain things. One of the things they are calling for is ala reno, where there's somebody employed, hired by the family to investigate the other family.
Yes, I think that used to be a norm.
Norm then, no, you see, and it saved a lot.
That used to be a norm then, because I know they had to check the family history,
medical
is there a
history,
history of mental illness,
and
what
all,
kind of things that happened, do they suffer from some kind of things,
So
so
it
as
goes
to,
up.
yes.
No, it's okay. When he said mental illness, you know, I
Those was far.
Yeah,
As from
because
our own
the,
side,
the
Yorubas,
mental illness
yeah.
thing, not
Yeah, I
the
think
reason
that
I
was why
it was a
mentioned this
major
because
thing. It was a
he
major
was a
thing.
major thing.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you know, the funny thing is, part of the things that they didn't teach us, and then it was true research as a man, I find that I got married, and then I started reading books where there's no doctor, every woman, a couple of things, and then I started listening to, watching a whole lot of videos. And then, do you know that for pregnant women, you know, pregnancy messes with their mental health? It messes with them totally. Do you also know that there are some women that once they put to bed, they have that child, some begin to resent that child. Some can even try to kill that child. It's a form of mental illness. But nobody ever mentioned that. Nobody ever told me. You know, I was just, okay, I found someone that I loved, and then, every yada, 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 things didn't
So
work
you didn't
out.
go through the
We
alarm
ended up,
thing.
yeah, definitely. Well, we did the background check, definitely. My parents were very strict with that kind of thing. So they actually did the background check. I was like, oh yeah, it's a respectable family. Yes, you can go ahead. Yeah, but that was because I also subscribed to my parents' school of thought. I could also be like, you know, now you have newer generations, and you just feel some of those things are archaic. It's just supposed to be two people that love themselves. And then doctor has brought in that you need to go way beyond that, right?
Yeah.
Now, in Dr. saying way beyond that, going way beyond that, how do you handle the risk of being vulnerable? Now that's why I want to, this is Joanna's coming out. How do you handle the risk of exposing yourself in a relationship?
I think the truth is vulnerability just means sharing your emotions, your thoughts. It doesn't mean you should be weak. It doesn't mean at every point in time the man should come and cry. You are the head of the home, for Christ's sake, so why should you come and cry at every... But there are times you need to cry. Please go ahead and cry.
What if you're my safe space?
That's what I'm saying. Please go ahead.
What if the only place I can explore my emotions without being judged?
Please go ahead and do so. That's what we're saying. But the reason why some men are against vulnerability is because they think it means being vulnerable like a woman. For example, women may not want you to provide solution. They just want you to be a listening ear. I
found that out. No, never just nod your head along. Listen.
So I just want to rant.
And just nod your head.
For example, imagine maybe I'm going out. Most of the time, I don't like using Okada to go out. So maybe if peradventure I just need to get something and I get Okada and I get somebody trying to stop me across the way and I don't like it, you know. So, and maybe there's something that happens. I just come back and I'm gisting with my partner and I'm telling him, I'm not letting him know that, oh, look, I'm so beautiful that guys, I'm pouring out my, frustration that these people not listening to a simple no. You know, some guys can't take no. So when they want to stop you and say, please, can I have your number? And you say, no, please, don't. They say, what's wrong with you? You know, it can be frustrating for me. I don't like it. And people passing by can be looking that, Kilonche lady and all of that. So if I have a partner, you know, I'm going to like to tell my partner that I don't want you to advise me on what to do. Mm-hmm. I want you to join me in telling me that guy real way, do you know, and we laugh about it and that's it. Do you know? But that is for us. For you men, you may not be.
Will happen tomorrow now.
For you men, it might not be like that. Vulnerability might not be just discussing. You have made up your mind already. You know what to do. A decision you have made already. Why would you tell me about it? Okay. But when you have a partner, that's where vulnerability is different from honesty. Honesty is when I ask you, has any girl not been toasting you, then you tell me. But vulnerability is you telling me, babe, your guy is hot cake. Do you know what happened? I didn't ask you whether a babe asked you out. I didn't ask you whether a babe threw passes at you. It is you telling me on your own that, look, this is what happened. It builds trust. That is the problem. It is not about your personality again. It is about you bonding with your partner in a relationship. That is why most relationships, you see, some of them are just roommates. Do you understand? There are times in marriage, from my experience, there are times in marriage that maybe a pastor was preaching and said, now we beg married people to have sex. But when they were singles, they were...
we're begging them to stay away from each other.
Now we are begging married people to have sex. Why? The things that should have made for bonding, they didn't pay attention to it before marriage. And so now they instead equated or substituted sex as the bonding tool. So now that, familiarity is very funny. If I slap your hand, do you get? But what other ways can you build intimacy? Do you use your words? Can you as a man be in the office and you just send a message to your wife that, oh, I can't wait to see you tonight. Don't bother cooking. I'm buying stuff for you to come and prepare. Just go be beautiful. Wait for me.
In this Nigerian economy.
Forget that thing. It can just be suya. You are saying don't go to the kitchen. It can be suya. It can be noodles for the children. Do you understand? It doesn't have to be fine dining experience. We are saying without money, without sex, what other way can you get that bond with your wife? Do you understand?
Do you subscribe to a school of thought?
Of course I do. Of course I do. You know me now. But the thing about it is, I think vulnerability, when it comes to vulnerability, why we're having discussion is because, so of course, it's still on the man, not being vulnerable with the woman.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So at the end of the day, the boss still passes us to us that, why are you not, we are trying to be the organ of the house.
And the problem is that, sorry to cut you, when a man is not vulnerable, at the end of the day, he suffers the most for it. Because he's cut off from the emotional support that he can get from his immediate family, which is the wife. Imagine you having issues at the place of work and you might likely lose the job and all. You need that person that loves you the most to tell you, guy, I got your back. with or without the job, I got your back.
Sorry, I want her to finish.
You understand?
Okay.
I got your back.
That is when it's actually...
You need it. But if you have not been building that emotional connection,
attachment,
when you need that support, you won't have it. That is when you see the men now having high blood pressure.
But do you know why we really don't...
It is
why
the
we really
that I
don't come
want
to
hear.
you? Yeah.
Tell me the why.
Okay. Your point of argument is when you're really being the go-to person. What about the one that doesn't just care? Let's tilt.
That the man does not care.
No, the woman.
Yes.
Because now, right?
Yes.
The very best of arguments that we're going to have is the vulnerability has to be like open arms. What happened today? I can't tell you everything. You said something about being honest and being vulnerable. Have we now checked the back book when we are now even being vulnerable and we have been attacked?
And the woman is not. Okay.
And we are now at a disadvantage because
I think one
I'm
of the
vulnerable
videos
with
mentioned
you, right? Yeah, when the guy was trying to say like, I'm vulnerable with you, and the next thing is we have a little argument. Let's say even not a little argument. I don't want to know. I don't want to start bringing a excuse because it might come from anywhere. And now you are using the same thing I told you and using this against me.
I think that's where he said something like that I agree with. He said you have to get to know that person before you marry that person.
Before, yeah, okay. Yeah, okay,
you understand?
I understand that, yeah.
Now, for me, I test you with little things. I don't just become so close with you and then I begin to, give out all my secrets and all of that. I test you with the little things. See how you react. See how you process things.
Well, at the end of the day, you women are the most secretive. Really?
We women?
Yeah,
are
women are most 100. Women are more secretive than men. Doctor, I don't know if you...
I'm going to give you a story.
Am I right or wrong?
I'm going to give you a story that I read online. Right? I believe people are like onions. There are different layers.
Yes.
The man said he moved into this house. The wife, they needed to change accommodation after they got married, and then she looked for the house, they set up the house, and then he just notices that like after every 3 years he has this increase in his salary, the house rent goes up. He has this increase in salary, the house rent goes up. And then something happened, and then he got to find out that
the wife is the landlord. Yeah, I think I heard that story.
That's where vulnerability, honesty comes in.
That kind of a man.
Are you not saying
no.
it's not been
Some
vulnerable?
men would never live in a house built by their wives. They would rather suffer. That's where ego.
But if you say,
you
say you love me, and you say, okay, you went to the altar with me.
Yeah.
You love me enough for me to be your head.
Yeah.
And I've shown you nothing else but love. Why can't you tell me that my husband is going to
don't let us
stand
judge
for me
them.
and
We
go?
don't really know the full story. We
For,
don't know what happened
You-
there.
you know
Let's
what
You can be my landlord for 10 years and you'll be increasing every time I have salary. I have salary.
Now you are going anywhere now.
no.
I understand what you're saying.
No.
We can't judge them.
No, the
truth
thing
for
is,
the
the
truth.
thing
Yeah,
is,
we don't know what
we
happened.
have.
So
we have
you
good-
think you
we
believe
have-
that some men can handle their wives, their women's success?
Yes.
Then why should you be with
No,
somebody
some
you
men.
shouldn't
It
you
is
won't be able
true.
to
It
handle
is
their
true.
success?
Some men can't.
Some
Let's
men
not
can,
argue
but
that.
most
Some
men
men
would.
can't.
Sorry, can I ask a question?
Yes.
Doctor, can I ask a question? So if your woman has an opportunity to become the first lady, then she becomes the president now, would you be the first man or not? Or would you choose to work?
Okay, so I enjoy the argument, but I feel we are missing out a very silent point, a very little but very significant, and we're not like the society is missing it out, and that's. I noticed that you guys are friends.
Yeah.
Do you guys plan? I don't think you guys plan what to say
No.
to each other. So because you guys are friends, and if he makes it more, becomes like the director of UN, is your friend. That he also opens up the door for you.
Yes.
The problem, the challenge is people are getting married to people that are not their friends. Because you're not going to beef him or feel jealous for being the director because you know my friend is the director general of UN.
Yeah.
That is something will come out.
An extension of me.
Me. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I love that word. An
Yes.
extension of me. Yeah. Yeah.
and how can you choose somebody who's an extension of you when you don't even know who you are?
But with feminism now, some women will tell you we are not appendages. We are equals.
And why are you in a relationship with a woman that is having identity crisis.
And you know you can't handle it. I think, yeah.
But the thing is this now, no matter how long you stay with people have their layers. It is what they want you to see.
Most especially women are warmer on that. I'm serious. I'm very sorry to
now.
Are you a member of any Emmanuel?
No, I am not actually.
Hold on.
But I feel they are
you
more
see, one
secretive
thing I
than
want
men.
us to get to take note of here is that it's not about gender war.
Oh, obviously,
We have
definitely.
this same problem with the female gender. I run a female podcast, right? So we tackle these issues. So there are women who, based on their past traumas, come up with these ideas. They've been traumatized and they're speaking from a place of trauma.
Yeah.
Now, if you want to marry a person, like he said, I used to think men who are not vulnerable are wicked, they're bad and all of that. But now I'm beginning to realize that, no, I think it can be compatibility issue. There are women who actually can relate with men who are not vulnerable and the relationship will go smooth. Yeah. Do you understand? That means I know myself that I cannot. I'm an emotional person. I can't stand seeing my partner not happy.
Being aloof.
Being aloof.
Yeah,
and I'm like, hello, guy, how you doing? What's up? And you're like, okay, fine. I'm like, okay, let me chill. But my chilling, I'm overthinking.
Thinking for him, yeah.
I'm going crazy. And then the next time we just call again and you're like, how are you not I'm going to walk myself into an emotional mental health issue. And so the best thing is to walk away. I'm buttressing his point. Know who you are first. Now that I know that I'm an overthinker, do you understand? I'm an empathetic person. I don't need to be with somebody who is emotionally unavailable. I need to be with somebody who understands that sharing your emotions with me does not make me disrespect you. It doesn't make me judge you. It makes me understand you. And it makes me know when I need to step back. Do you understand? It makes me know when I need to be goofy with you. You can't be sad and I'll be just serious with you, reminding you, show me, Bill, what renting. That's the time I have to take your mind off it. Do you understand? We play, we laugh.
But there are certain men that says it is that point when they want to be intimate with their woman or they are being intimate. And then they start to bring the, we have bills to pay, we want to do this. And then
vulnerability.
When men begin to tell you that, they just switch off because I think what women sometimes might not understand is men are, the way we are just as emotional as you are. But the thing with us is there's this switch that flickers. Now I can be all in the mood and I'm singing, I make love to you, and then you just say the wrong things and I just go,
yeah.
What's wrong with this?
Again, it has to do with friendship and knowing yourselves. Now, in the course of knowing yourself, you would have.
Will the friendship not breed content?
No, not at all.
Over time.
True friendship will not.
It won't.
True friendship. How do we attain true friendship?
Both of you, are you not friends? Has it come to the stage of content?
Yeah, if we fight, we'll drag ourselves now. I dragged him here today.
And it's still,
Will it still bring content?
it's still part of friendship.
Do you understand? You can have disagreements and conflict.
Yeah,
but the
that
truth
will always
is,
happen.
exactly, how do we resolve it?
But
When I have a conflict with you as my partner, do I use abusive words? Do I try to bring you down or I address the issue? I don't like what you've done. I don't refer to the past things you've done. Do you understand? So that is where men are getting it all wrong. They feel that being vulnerable makes them open to disrespect and it makes them look weak. For me, no. It makes me know how to relate with you better.
Okay.
I know the choice of words to use. For example, if I don't know that you're very touchy about the way you look, maybe you are self-conscious of how you look. I don't know. I might be telling you, oh, see how your nose be. But the day I know you are conscious about it, I'll never make that kind of joke again. Rather, I'll be telling you, I want a fine boy. Because I understand that that word will trigger you. Do you understand? That is what vulnerability means. But if you don't tell me, I'm just a joke. Sure, you see now.
But the other thing with guys, we say these things and we get along with it. I have friends that are bald and I just do that, half lots, look, be home.
Why? Is it? I don't understand.
We still touch
See,
still touch Shell's head and
if the wife in the heat of argument, if the wife in the heat of argument should tell you that
exactly. Yeah, those are two.
Let's hold it. We'll resume. We'll take a short break now. We'll be back shortly.
All right.
is a mutual sanctuary, a space where two people give their all, not out of obligation, but out of an unspoken commitment to nurture and protect the bond that they share. It's an environment where vulnerability isn't feared but welcomed, where both partners can actually admit their sensitivities and express their emotions freely, unburdened by the fear of rejection or loss or regret. Because in this space, love isn't measured in percentages. It's fluid. It's adaptive. On the days when one partner can't give their all, the other instinctively steps in. Not as a duty, but as an act of care, ensuring neither feels abandoned or unseen. Real love thrives on reciprocity, tenderness, and acceptance, given without hesitation or condition. It's never one-sided, nor is it in a performance staged to prove worthiness. Instead, it's a shared refuge where both hearts are not only seen and valued, but also deeply understood. In this sanctuary, love becomes less about perfection and more about presence, a profound connection where both souls can rest, grow, and belong.
Allowing ourselves to be open for hurt, open for pain, and in having lived a life of abuse or chaotic where suddenly things become dangerous, it's very scary to take that step into vulnerability, and yet there's no close relationship without it. There's no intimacy. Intimacy is intimacy, which means being vulnerable and transparent. And so to be able to do that is just really, really scary at first, but it's so worth it. It's just so worth it.
Welcome back. Yes, so doctor, now from the videos we've watched now, I really liked something the last video said. It says intimacy is intimacy. Now, we've all made different points, right? But how do we nurture our relationships and still be vulnerable without recourse for fear of being hurt in the end?
You have to be careful of the people in your inner circle. There's a structure we came up with: the crowd stage, the pre-friendship stage, friendship stage, then relationship. Mm-hmm. Interestingly, it's not just about relationship. If you also, guys also don't really have strong bonds with other guys.
Yes.
So it's not just about the man-woman relationship.
Yes.
So you want to be careful of who you want to test people before moving them from crowd stage to pre-friendship stage. And then you want to test them before moving them from pre-friendship. So some people might be in pre-friendship stage for 20 years. You don't care. Yes. So it comes down to you placing value on yourself. Mm. So that's how, the people in crowd stage will get the least amount of your attention. Mm. Mm-hmm. And then the people in pre-friendship stage will get a little bit more attention, your own attention, more than the people in crowd stage. And then the people in friendship stage will get a higher amount of attention, your own attention, than the people in pre-friendship. It is from that pool of friendship that are going to pick who to marry. Mm. So explain to me how it will be very difficult to communicate with your friend when the person has gone through all those stages. So it comes down to placing value on yourself.
So okay, placing value in yourself also means
determine who gets your attention, the amount of attention.
So it means it starts from us. Okay, because the last time we were here on this podcast, we were talking about self-audits, doing the self-audits every time. You look, okay, how do I add value to myself? What are the things I'm doing? Am I getting things wrong? How can I better myself? But now that it's it's personal now. So what would you say to someone out there whose man is trying to be, because you're a very fine lady on set now. Now, how do you think women should be safe spaces for men when men are trying to be vulnerable? Because it's not easy to be vulnerable and then, okay, I'm with you, like he said now, okay, you've gone through the ranks and I have wedded you, or I'm in a strong relationship with you. I believe you're an extension of me. I'm you, you're me. But how do I, you understand, be vulnerable with you, make you my safe space without having to regret it?
I think while we were discussing, there was something he was saying that when men meet women, most times they're just like, oh, I want to marry you immediately. I think of every institution we have in the world now, of every role that we have available for men, the role that the man is ill-prepared for most is marriage, being the head of the home. As a man, you're not just the provider. That's why I was saying that I don't like the idea of the man being the sole provider of money. Mm-hmm. You're not just providing money. Mm-hmm. You're providing emotions. You're providing cover. You're providing, care. Mm-hmm. You understand? It doesn't have to center just around money. What money does Hillary Clinton want from Bill Clinton? Mm. Do you understand? There are women that, Okonjo-Iweala, what money does she want? Chimamanda Adichie, what money does she want? Do you understand? That's why we have lots of problems in relationship. If your concentration is just on money, that relationship is going to have problem. Mm-hmm. But you have to be the one that provides emotions, religious needs, your children, how do you train them? Do you understand? You don't leave them just for the woman to train. At the end of the day, there is the role of the man. So first, you have to prepare for marriage. What will my home look like? Do you want to be the kind of man that once your children hear your car coming like this, they tear into the... Do you understand? Yeah. Or do you want to be the man that will be so into gentle parenting that you'll be telling your children, I am warning you right here. I will beat you. That's not what vulnerability is. You can't be firm. You can't be disciplined and still be vulnerable. So it is you, communicating to your wife that your wife has offended you. Maybe you confided in her something personal to you, and maybe she referred to it in a backhanded, sarcastic way. You sit her down. You are the head. You sit her down and tell her, babe, you're not insulting her. You're not going to get her defense system so up. Babe, I don't like what you did. I told you this in confidence, and you did this and you did that. If she refuses to listen to you, then I think you're justified in keeping those things to yourself. Do you understand? But first, you have to let her know. Okay? For me, I think marriage should be about two people who are intentional about growth. Exactly. You have to be willing to grow. Like you said, the dynamics between couples before marriage is usually different after marriage and child upbringing. Do you understand? For example, you may want to beat the child and your wife will say, Sheko wa poju. Do you understand? So how do you both communicate without the child not knowing that daddy is fighting for me or mommy is fighting for me? So you must be willing to understand yourselves and work on growth.
We'll find a way to balance that. Yeah, sure. All right, yes. In 1 minute, right? Give me your thoughts. Okay.
I'm always an advocate of just trying to find peace in everything that you try to do. But still, it's not being vulnerable, actually. It's just we're talking about marriage, relationship, even boils down to friendship, right? So as doctor has advised, getting to know yourself first, what you can take in and what you won't take. I think for me, it has to be intentional. I would just, what, the Yorubas, Kotoba, Nije, Mafiromu. Thank you. Yeah, so it has to be, you have to be intentional about it. Yeah. And if you notice that this thing is not going to pay you at the end, if it's marriage, then I think, I can't say you can walk away, but you can find a way around it. Even if it's still friendship, you can still find your way around it too. So God help us all.
Thank you. It's been a wonderful episode so far. I've also learnt new things. I hope you have. Thank you for all you do, for watching us. We hope you tune in next time. We'll come your way on Dominion TV on the Unspoken podcast. Have a lovely week.